Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Now today's video is going to be a follow-up from last week with my Mora heavy duty companion. Now here's the knife. I'm going to show you the knife before I light the fire because I want to talk about it a bit. Now last week I used it straight out of the package. Didn't sharpen it, didn't do anything to it. Did a few tasks, basically splitting some wood down and making a feather stick. Now, it didn't do a very good feather stick. I did another one with my carbon heavy duty and it was a lot better. Now the reason was, and I didn't realise at the time, when I was splitting, the edge rolled. I noticed at home it was pretty bad as well. I don't know how I didn't notice it here, but the edge had rolled. So what I've done, I've sharpened it. And I've put a full flat 0 Scandi grind on it. And it's more or less a mirror polish. Now this did really go against my better judgment, because if the factory edge rolled, then there's a good chance that the steel is a bit soft. So I did and ah about putting a secondary bevel or Scandi Vex in it, but I thought no, I'll try it with a full flat. Now the problem with this, in my eyes, that's a hell of a shallow grind. You know, it's 3mm thick, 3.2 I think, and I'm used to quite a steeper grind on the knives I make. So I'm going to see how that performs later on with a bit of splitting again. The other thing I've done to this knife, I've taken the spine to a 90, but I haven't taken the whole spine to a 90. I've only taken that portion. Reason being, when I did it on my other knife and I took it the whole way, this is very rounded and I took a hell of a lot off it. I'll show you. Can you see that dip? It's not far off 2mm. I wanted to make a new sheath for it. But I was looking on Instagram and one of the guys that I follow and follows me back, Toby Hobby from Red Kite Leatherworks, had just done some sheaths for Mora knives. So I reached out to Toby and I asked him, could he make me a sheath? And he did. And he made me a lovely sheath, and he made it quite quick as well. D-ring and a dangler, which is my preferred method of carry. The leatherwork's lovely. Leather's really nice. And he said to me that the only problem with doing them, the rubber handle tends to grip. So I said to him, well, don't make it too tight, because it's a deep carry anyway. You know, if it is a shallow carry, well, you've got to think about that again then. But because it's a deep carry, there's no problem. So he made it a little bit looser for me, and it's perfect. So there's the sheath. Pretty similar in style to what I would make. Well, what I'm going to do now is light the fire. I've got the splits from last week. I'm going to make a couple of feather sticks with my freshly sharpened knife and get on with lighting the fire. Then I'm going to do some more stuff with the knife. So a massive improvement on last week. Unfortunately these sticks are a bit short. I'll probably cut some longer ones later to make some really nice ones, but a massive improvement. And that, as you may well know, I'll call my igniter stick, because it's fine and it'll take a spark pretty easy. Six small feather sticks later, no edge damage anyway, so that's good. Not that it did much work, it just shaved, but that's a hell of an improvement. Time to light the fire. Two igniter sticks, Old Faithful ferro rod, there we are, fire's lit. Piece of cake today as well, which is always good. Well, I'm going to do a bit of bucking up now for my battening test, or if in American, baton, on the Mora. Right, so I've bucked some wood up. I'm going to do a little bit of splitting. I'm going to keep the nicest straightest ones to split with the Mora, but the gnarly ones I'm going to use the axe on. Where's the Hudson Bay when you need it? At home. Well, that's a bit of splitting done. A bit of bark flew off there. Hit me in the lip. Was unpleasant. Well, these look just about perfect and the right length. Well, not bad. As I thought, that shallow grind does tend to dig in a bit, but that's an excellent second stage feather stick. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to try and make a really fine one now. pleased with that. Good tip control, and you can get them really nice fine ones when you use the tip. So, thumbs up. Definitely needed a resharpen. What I'll do now, I'll make another one with my carbon, which has got a slightly different grind on it. Don't know why. Perhaps it's something to do with the carbon ones are made in one place and the stainless ones are made in another. Could be. Well, I just made that monstrosity with the carbon one. The carbon one needs a sharpen. It's funny, because last week the carbon one was better than the stainless one, but now I've sharpened the stainless one. The stainless one's better. So that's a bit crap. It'll light the fire, but it's no Da Vinci. So the time has come to batten my beautifully sharpened knife through a log. Here we go. Well, that's just gone through a 4-inch log, about a foot long. With absolutely no damage to the edge, it's still perfect. So it must have been the factory edge at blame, because that worked a treat. As I said earlier, I'm not that keen on that shallow grind, but that's just me. Most people probably do like that shallow grind. Well, I'm impressed with that. So I'm going to turn this into fine kindling now, see how that goes. Still good. Quick feather stick. Standing up isn't the ideal to make a feather stick. You want to be a bit more stable. Well, that was quick. Nice fine ones. No edge damage. Excellent. Well, that's a big thumbs up for the Mora. Very pleased with it, but it definitely needs modifying. It needs a good sharpen, that's a fact, and it needs a bit of grinding down of the spine. I'm very pleased with how that worked anyway. I'm also very pleased with the sheath that Toby made me. Thank you very much, Toby. And I will return the favour one day when you need it. So, thanks very much for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Massively appreciate you watching. And I hope you appreciate the time I take to do knife reviews and videos. So please give me a thumbs up, because a thumbs up makes my day. And if you want to share, please feel free to share. Until the next time, ta-ra. Well, that's come to the end of today's filming and my foray into the woods. I'm waiting for my last cup of tea, and I'm going to have that, and I may make a feather stick, because I like making feather sticks, but I'm not going to use the Mora. I'm going to use my bush tool. So I just did that with my bush tool. Took less than 2 minutes. To me, there's no comparison. I like a steep grind. Goodbye.